Hi, it's TK with the weekly words of encouragement. For this installment of our Fruit of the Spirit series, we will discuss kindness. I love the way Dr. Tony Evans describes kindness in his Bible commentary. He says we demonstrate kindness when we help rather than hurt. Jesus' life and the parables he told offer us tangible examples of showing kindness to others, of helping, not hurting. Jesus fed the hungry, healed the sick, and readily interacted with those on the fringes of society. For example, he healed a man with leprosy, a skin disease that rendered the man unclean and an outcast according to the Mosaic law. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him, that is Jesus, and knelt before him. "Lord," the man said, "if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean." Jesus reached out and touched him. "I am willing," he said, "be healed." And instantly the leprosy disappeared. I believe Jesus' touch was intentional to let the leper know that despite his disease, he mattered to Jesus. Our Savior showed kindness through his touch. We see another example of Jesus showing kindness in his response to the woman who suffered from constant bleeding. Again, according to the Mosaic law, this woman was considered unclean, which meant any object or any person she touched would be considered unclean after coming into contact with her. Let's learn more about her story, which is recorded in Mark chapter 5, verses 25 through 34. A woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years she had spent everything she had to pay them. But she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, "If I can just touch his robe, I will be healed." Immediately the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had been healed of her terrible condition. Jesus realized at once that healing power had gone out from him, so he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my robe?" His disciples said to him, "Look at this crowd pressing around you. How can you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell to her knees in front of him, and told him what she had done. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is over." After 12 years with no relief from her bleeding, this woman was desperate for healing. The scriptures tell us she had heard about Jesus. Maybe she had heard reports of the miracles he performed and how he healed others. So she made a decision to approach him. But she couldn't just walk up to him. She was unclean, so she had to find another way to make contact with him. And there was a huge crowd surrounding him, but that crowd didn't deter her. She had faith that if she could just touch his robe, she would be healed. So she snuck up behind Jesus to touch his robe, and she was immediately healed. And I love Jesus' response to her. "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is over." So much kindness in his words. And the parable Jesus told about the Good Samaritan also offers us an example of showing kindness. In this parable, a Jewish man was traveling when he was attacked by bandits and left for dead. As the man was lying in the road, a priest saw him but decided to cross to the other side. Next, a Levite, or a temple assistant, passed by, and like the priest, he crossed to the other side of the road. Then a despised Samaritan, according to Luke chapter 10, verse 33, came along and saw the beaten man lying there on the road. The Samaritan, who was despised by the Jewish people, felt compassion for the man, so he stopped and nursed the man's wounds. Then the Samaritan put the injured man on his donkey and took him to an inn to further care for his needs. And before leaving the inn, the Samaritan gave the innkeeper money to continue caring for the man's needs. Despite being culturally despised by the Jewish people, the Samaritan man stopped his journey to help a Jewish man in need. What an amazing expression of kindness. We should follow the example of Jesus and of the Good Samaritan by taking advantage of opportunities to express kindness to those within our spheres of influence. In our homes, in our churches, in our workplaces, in our schools, in our communities, in real life and online. No matter where you find yourself, be kind. I pray you have a blessed week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.